Good morning, ladies and gents. Welcome to another stream. Now, you're probably thinking, um, Ryan doesn't sound as perky today. In fact, he sounds a bit rough, and you're probably worried that I might be getting ill, but it isn't that. And I'm going to completely be honest with you what it is. I decided to try and be positive and be fit, and this is something I would suggest that other people do as well. Probably just not just me because it doesn't tend to go well when I do it. Um, but I have a friend who's a PT, personal trainer, and he said, "Oh yeah, we'll do some personal training sessions." So yesterday, I did my first personal training session, which I've done it before, um, but I forgot how intense it was. So I feel like I've been beaten up today, which isn't good, and it's self-inflicted. Uh, and I'm thinking it's only going to get worse. Um, and yeah, I just feel like I've had the stuffing kicked out of me. Um, so yeah, my legs are sore, my chest is sore, and I didn't have anything to actually do the exercises with. In terms of like I don't have anything at home like barbells or anything like that. So I just did it with I have a big thing of cat litter that I had that was 7.5 kilos. I was pulling that up and down. And I got some Robinsons, big things of Robinsons that I got, and I put them in carrier bags, and I was doing them, in sense that it works, bloody hell, it works. It doesn't really matter, does it? As long as it's weight. Um, yeah, it's very intense. I feel like I've been kicked around. So yeah, I'm sorry for not being as perky today. I'll try and regain my perkiness. I was very close to going, stuff the stream today. I can't be bothered. I'm too sore. But I'm thinking, if I'm like this now, imagine what I'm going to be like tomorrow. Because they say it's the day after, don't they? So I thought, no, carry on. That's the that's the Mr. Businessman motto. Just carry on. So yeah, thank you very much for being here. You are all saints and martyrs for the cause. And obviously, I will try and keep it short and sweet as I always do. I'm going to do promotion today. And some of it's pretty easy. Some of it's there's a lot of stuff in the live book that you need to go through. There's a lot of stuff that you literally a lot of reading, a lot of stuff that you can do a little bit of research on. So yeah, it's yeah, I'm sore, but I'm surviving. I just didn't want you to think it's finally caught up with Ryan. It could have done, but I don't think it has. So I think this is self-inflicted. So let's get on with it, shall we? Let's do some promotion. Now, when people think about marketing mix, they think about advertising and all the different types of advertisements, and you'll probably have certain advertisements. I'm going to move this mic a little bit so you can't see the mic. There you go. You'll have advertisements that you remember from when you were a kid. You'll have advertisements, that you'll remember that you'll have stuck in your head, ingrained in your mind. The big one for me, rather have a bowl of Cocoa Pops. That's like a screensaver for your mind, that isn't it? And there's lots of different ones. Or there might have been even advertisements that freak you out when you were a kid, and they sort of stick in your consciousness and stuff. But can you remember some of these that are on the thing here? So just go through them and see if you can remember them. Obviously, we've got the very famous one, top left, with the monkey, so the big gorilla doing Phil Collins. Can you remember who that was for? It was Cadbury. Cadbury have this sort of way of doing very unusual advertising that doesn't really link to chocolate at all, and it's clever because it makes you remember what it is, even though it's nothing to do with the product. Yeah, it's an interesting concept, isn't it? Do you advertise your product and just shout about the fact you've got a product, or do you advertise the brand and try and make people want the products? It's all about giving that sort of value proposition we were talking about in an earlier stream, weren't we? What about this chap at the top? He was compare the meerkat, wasn't it? Compare the market. We had Usain Bolt up at the top there. Can you remember who he was? I think it was Virgin Media. He seems to be the Virgin Media one, doesn't he? But I'm sure he did something with Virgin Trains and stuff at the time. I'm not sure. We've got, obviously, in the middle, holidays are coming, holidays are coming. How do you know it's Christmas? Because it's... the Father Christmas and the big Coca-Cola wagons arrived. The little chaps on the right, that was something to do with Smash. I think that was like a mashed potato thing that was done. You might not have seen that one. We've got is it three mobile? Kevin Bacon. Is it three? No, it might not be. Yeah, it's like 3 or something. It's a mobile phone company anyway. This one at the bottom, I don't know if you've seen this one, but if you haven't, Guinness. If you put tick full of talk in tick full of talk, full of tick full of talk, that's the the famous line from it. And it was Guinness advert where this guy was sort of like, as you can see, sort of surfing, and there was these horses that are racing. Again, not something that would really link to it. I don't know what that was about, but it was a very distinctive advert when it came out. We've got Wonga down the bottom. We've got Churchill. And we've got Gary Lineker stealing 2 piglets, which I imagine is something to do with Walkers, or it could be something to do with football. But I think he's a sort of spokesperson for Walkers, isn't he? So let's have a little look what we're going to do today. So just to draw your attention to how many of these you already are aware of and you already know. Explain what is meant by promotion, explain the different above-the-line and below-the-line strategies used by a business to promote their products, understand how different types of business organisations in different situations will use a range of different promotional strategies, explain the importance for a business of selecting the most appropriate promotional strategy, and evaluate the impact of selecting the right promotional tools. We're going to talk a little bit about our stakeholders as we usually do. But if you can get into the habit of, understanding that it's usually, isn't it? It's breaking it down. It's like your AO1, your AO2, your AO3, your AO4, again and again and again. So what is promotion? Now in your book, there's this little space to sort of break this up into what it is. But it's basically it's the definition, but it's broken down for you. So it's just have a go now. Just pause the stream a second. Have a go. Redo these. And have a go at, making it up for me. Okay? Just have a look at the words, see if you can reorder them. So I'm gonna push straight on, but this is what it is. All right. So promotion is the attempt to draw attention to a product or business in order to gain new customers or retain existing ones. It's the thing which we think of as marketing. Everybody always thinks you mean promotion. You don't necessarily mean promotion, because we could mean place, we could mean price, we could mean all these different things that we've talked about. But for this one, we physically mean the actual promoting the brand, promoting the product, the actual advertisement that we do. Is that, and when I say advertisement is a form of promotion. There's a thing called the promotional mix, which we're not really going into much detail about today. It's more of a second year thing, but there's all different types of promotion that you can do, and we'll have a look at. Or are we going to have a look at promotional mix? Let me just check. No, I don't think we are. No, not today. Oh no, maybe a little bit. Yeah, we might do actually. We'll do it a little bit. As I said, we're not going to go into crazy detail, but we'll do a little bit. It seems a shame not to mention it, because you'll need it at some point, so we might as well talk about it. That's my motto. What's the motto? Nothing. What's the motto? You. So what goes through a customer's mind before they make a purchase? I think I've got hay fever as well, to be honest. I can kind of feel it. I need to get a hay fever tablet. That's my thing today. What goes through a customer's mind before they make a purchase? There's a couple of things that go through a customer's mind, and you'll know this because you're a customer yourself. What kind of things? So, a lot of things to do with price, about quality, about customer service, about is it the right product for me, about the sort of the things which the product has for us. Is there, alternatives available? Do I really want to be associated with this brand? Is there other things that we could be doing? Do I have the money to do this? So I think there's the price elasticity, income elasticity stuff definitely comes into place. Because you start to thinking, is it a necessity good? Is it this? And at this moment in time, is it worth the risk going out to try and get one of these things? Even supermarkets and that and stuff. So there's quite a lot of things that go through your mind before you actually physically make a purchase, isn't it? And this is what businesses have to sort of navigate and get through, because it's not easy to get people to part with the money. Easier for some people than it is others, obviously, but it's not easy as a whole, and especially over the next coming months and years. People are being made redundant, people are being put on 80% pay. It's going to be harder and harder to get people to part with the money, because they haven't got the confidence in their income that they would have had before. So let's have a little look at the objectives of promotion then. So a couple of things that promotions there to do. Number one is provide potential customers with info. Yeah, so it's there to actually get information about the product out. I said one of the important things that you think about before you make a purchase is this product for me? Is there a better alternative? Is there something else I could be doing with my money? Well, let's get that information out. This product does X, Y, and Z. You should want this product because X, Y, and Z. And can you kind of convince them? So the top one, to increase sales or market share. Now, we talked a little bit about market share. Can you remember how you work out market share? It was the same sort of formula that keeps coming up and up and up and up. Can you remember it? It was your sales over total market sales times 100. So it's that same thing. It's D over D times 100 to give you a percentage. And if you remember, market share is really important. We want to maximize market share so we have dominance over the market, so we can be a price maker rather than a price taker, and sort of control that market more effectively. To give the products an image. This is a big one, isn't it? We were talking about the other day about branding and about the amount of people that care about this thing, about the brand and stuff like that. Would you buy a MacBook if it didn't say Apple? Would you buy think about clothing. As I said, I'm not really one for big brands. I've got a Sonic t-shirt on today, but I'm not that bothered. I'd usually just pick because I like the look of it. I wouldn't go, oh, that's Nike, that's why I want it. But I know a lot of people do. And it's not because they're thick or anything like that. It's because they value the image that product portrays for them. So and people get their self-worth a lot from products. I mean, this Corona stuff that's going on at the minute is a good example of why that's all nonsense, really, isn't it? And how it doesn't really, in reality, doesn't really affect anyone, because no one can see your fancy Nike trainers now because you're stuck inside. It won't protect you. All those followers on social media and that, they can't protect you from, the reality of life at this moment in time. And it's important that people get it, isn't it? That it's you can buy products and that, and you can be associated with labels, but don't let it take over your life. And some people do. Some people. I know someone. My mum's friend's husband won't eat anything but Heinz beans. It has to be Heinz, and I think that is actually the branding for Heinz, isn't it? It has to be Heinz. I think that's the actual tagline for it. But for him, it genuinely does, and he will kick off if he doesn't have Heinz. I personally, a bean's a bean. I know that they are different. Yeah, there is a difference in taste. I find Heinz beans to be quite sugary, actually. Although I think you can get reduced sugar ones. You go with Branston or something like that. Alternative brands are available. Establish a brand identity. This is a big one, isn't it? So establish a brand identity. What do you want this product to say about you? Let's think about Heinz beans. We just talked about them, haven't we? What is Heinz beans? Heinz beans are some small beans in a tomatoey sauce, served in a can or a microwavable pot or whatever it is at a crazy inflated price. because they are crazy expensive. I don't know why they're so expensive, those. Probably for convenience or something. But what does buying Heinz beans say about you? Well, it says a couple of things, doesn't it? It shows that you like the branded version of things. It shows you like the highest quality. It shows that you value the Heinz brand. Because remember, Heinz has been around for a very long time. Tomato sauce is a good one for me as well. Ketchup. My wife is really into Heinz ketchup. I'm not bothered. I really don't care about that. I'll have any ketchup, but it helps establish that brand identity, and it gets into people's minds that this product is better because it's Heinz, because it's got that seal of quality and stuff. So it depends on how much you're willing to pay to get that seal of quality, that taste, that branding, that the fact it says Heinz on it. As I said, less important than probably with food, more important with clothing and things like that people really get, uptight about. Canada Goose was a big one, wasn't it? Which is, they're obscenely priced coats. Look like you're going to bloody trek up Everest or something like that. But yeah, people seem to be into them. And they're not nice. I mean, but I wouldn't want to wear one of them now because I'd look like I'd look like I'm trying to be down with the kids or whatever it was. Even though, as I said, it makes me sound like I'm about 55 or something, and I'm not. Establish a corporate image. Again, this is more of the bigger thing. So establish a brand image. So what is it about Heinz beans? What it is about Dairy Milk? What is it about, Nike shoes, the certain Airwalk or something that is, the MacBook Pro, the Ford Fiesta, whatever it is that you're talking about. And then what about Ford itself? What about Heinz? What about Apple? What is it about those brands that makes you want to purchase one of them? Personally, I love Ford. I think they're fantastic cars. I've never had any problems with them. Fingers crossed, touch wood. I like it because you can get replacement parts for them quite cheap, and you get a hell of a lot for your money as well. I don't know why this has turned into an advert for Ford, but that would make the difference between me purchasing a car or not if it says Ford on it, which is stupid, really, isn't it? But it's a seal of quality, and I can't be bothered with it. I'm not really a car person either, so I'm not that bothered about all the different things that it can do. But I am bothered about consistency and quality, and I just want it to work, and that is what Ford does. I've been really pleased with mine. And finally, to enable long-term planning and lengthen product life cycles. We talked about product life cycles the other day, didn't we? About the importance to extend them when they start to decline, when they go into that maturity and then decline phase. We want to make sure that we are picking them up and making sure that we plan for, okay, why do we need a new Nike shoe coming out? Why do we need a new MacBook? Why do we need a new type of ketchup? Certain products have much longer product life cycles, like ketchup and stuff, but they'll still want to do the extension strategies, and they still do as well, don't they? Little squeezy parts or different ways of getting it. There's a range of different things, isn't there? So, advertising, as I said, advertising and promotion is not the same thing, because promotion's the overall thing, is how to promote the business. Advertising is just a component part of that. Promotion is more than advertising. It can be a range of different things. Advertising is only one method of many that a business can use to promote the kind of brand. So have a think about your advertisements, things like your social media advertisements, things like your TV, your radio, your print. They are all advertisements, and you're aware of what advertisements are, but promotion is bigger than that. Think of all the different things of how could you promote a product, because you'll already know a lot of this. I'm not going to show you these now because I can't show you them on stream for, I think, copyright issues as well as anything else, because if I show you them on here. But they're on here. These are on Microsoft Teams. You can go on and have a look at them. But I just want to talk you through each different type. We've got 3 different types of advertising, really. We've got informative advertising, persuasive advertising, reassuring advertising. And even if I could show you them, I couldn't show you the sound either because I don't think it works. I don't think it picks it up. Or we could do a test. Should we do a test? Let's do a test. If this crashes the system, then we'll know that it didn't work. Where are we? It's not letting me do it. I will double check, but I'm pretty sure. I'm sure I've checked, and it wouldn't let me do it anyway. It wouldn't let me. It wouldn't let me show them. Yeah. So. Yeah, what kind of advertising? Well, informative advertising is there purely to inform you about it. They're not trying to convince you of anything. They're just trying to show you what these things can do. And the difference between informative and persuasive is literally trying to persuade. It's trying to say, wouldn't you look good if you had this? There's a difference. So let's say that the informative advertising was something like Dyson talking about the Cyclone technology and stuff like that. That is informative. It's not trying to convince you of anything. It's just trying to tell you about Cyclone technology. And then it just goes off and you go, oh, Cyclone technology, Dyson, that sounds good, doesn't it? And then it might convince you to then go and purchase that product. But it isn't there to... It is persuading you to an extent, but if it was persuading you, it might have a special offer on. It might say, come on down. Dyson don't say, go and buy Dyson now, please. They just say, oh, look at all this, look at anything like that. They persuade you by showing you all the different things, all the specialities that product can do. So try and think in your mind about all those different products. Is the Coca-Cola one, the holidays are coming, is that all informative or is it persuasive? I'd say probably more informative than persuasive, because they're not trying to... They're just trying to tell you about Coca-Cola. They're just trying to get Coca-Cola back in your mind. They're not saying go and buy a Coca-Cola. Yes, it does do that, because obviously all advertising tries to make you do that, and promotion is there to try and get you to spend your money. But they're promoting it in an informative way rather than a persuasive way, aren't they? So you've got them on here anyway. As I said, and they're on Teams if you want to have a look at them. I said yesterday, didn't I? I was gonna drop a link in the comments, and I didn't either, so I apologise for that. But I will. I'll put these in at the end. I'll put these in the thing, and you can have a look at them. And then we've got reassuring advertising. These are more of things of after purchase, sort of just making you feel like you're okay. You can also use your sort of public service announcements, these kind of things, as they are promotion. Even the COVID-19 stuff that's going around at the minute. There's that guy, the guy who's the health secretary, who's an odd-looking chap. And they've got him to go on TV and say, like in somewhere we're all going to go, oh, it's the health secretary, or it's a chief medical officer or whatever he is. I didn't even know who that was until he started going front and centre. And now he's on adverts. But yeah, that's more of a reassuring thing, just to sort of like... Or if they do an advert that sort of reassures you that, yes, this is cool. Yes, that you have made the right decision about purchasing this product. Yes, the after-sales care is good, or whatever it is. There's 3 different types. As I said, I'll stick them in the comments. Have a look at them, divvy them up, and then you will understand the 3. Okay, so above the line and below the line promotion. Now, this is one you might not have heard of before, but above the line promotion is through independent media. It allows the business to reach its wide audience easily, more suitable for mass marketing. Basically, the way I always think of this is above the line marketing or above the line promotion is obvious promotion. So if it's really obvious that this is an advert, it's above the line. If it's not really obvious, I mean, if it's like, if there's any doubt in your mind, or if it's something that's more a bit more sort of, what's the best word to, like, a bit more exclusive, a bit more unusual, it's not something which they're saying, look, this is an advert, then that's below the line. So it's a nice way of remembering it. But below the line promotion takes the place via other methods over which firms have some degree of control, and allows businesses to aim their products at customers they know that are interested in their products. So is it a really obvious advertisement? If it is, it's above the line. If it's not that obvious, it will be below. So let's have a look. So advertisement above the line here, we've got TV, radio, cinema, newspapers, magazines, posters, billboards, internet. All of them really, really obvious. You can tell it's an advert, a pop-up, or whatever it is. They don't try and hide the fact that it's an advert. If you watch TV, when the adverts come on, you know it's an advert. And promotion, below the line promotion, the less obvious ones, or more specific to the situation ones, shall we say, more for niche marketing than mass marketing. Because remember, all those ones at the top over there
are all really mass market, aren't they? So they're not going to be for something really niche. You wouldn't do a cinema advertisement for something that's really, really niche. You'd do, you wouldn't do newspapers or magazines or something like that. It's just too niche. But for the bottom one, you've got direct mailing, so actually sending, leaflets out to people, sending directly to them. Exhibitions and trade fairs. Sometimes you just are there to get things heard. Hear from people and advertise new products and stuff like that. We've also got sales promotions. They are a below the line, saying, oh, it's 2 for 1 today or anything like that. It's not an advertisement, but so much as it's a below the line promotional technique to be able to get you more sales, isn't it? So 2 for 1 or half off or whatever it is. Public relations. Now, PR is a big one. We're going to come back to each one of these in a second. But what is PR? PR is the best way of describing PR is it's free advertising. So it's like events, or it could be videos, it could be different things where you are doing it to promote the brand, but you're doing it for free. And as I said, we'll go into that more detail in a second about what that is. We've got branding, so the actual branding itself, the fact that we're doing it is promotion, and it's something that it's very, very effective at getting people to buy things. But it's not an obvious advertisement, is it? We've got merchandising. So taking that one step further, getting that branded and putting it on various different things, getting those different things out there, putting your little brand, your little logo on a range of different things so people can sort of instill it in all the different bits of their lives. Packaging, which is one of the ones people forget about. Yeah, packaging, it's an important thing. It's well designed and things like that. And personal selling. What is personal selling? Again, we're going to go into it in more detail in a second, but personal selling is where you get an individual salesperson to try and sell a product or to a potential customer. Kind of thing you would do in, when you're going to go and buy a car or an estate agent, something like that. Something quite specific. So, I want you to have a think about what would they use for each one of these. Is it likely to be above the line? Is it likely to be below the line? Okay, so we've got down here, we've got the Team GB. Is that above the line or below the line? Well, if it was on an advert, it would be above the line. But look at them; they've got all this branding all over them, and they've got various little things. I think it's like an Adidas logo and blah blah blah. That's below the line. So they're not shouting about it, just the sponsorships, and that's below the line. It's just trying to get it into your psyche, just mention them. What about that above? So on the top, on the side of your taxis, it's obviously an advert, so it's above the line, isn't it? What about your Domino's Pizza stuff? Okay, so if we talk about Domino's Pizza, they're quite good at it. Domino's do advertisement on their own packaging. So if you look over there, that in itself, the Domino's Pizza logo and things like that, and the fact that they do so much on that, the colours on the box and things like that, that's packaging. It's below the line. Can you see how it's pretty easy when you get used to it? You can kind of pick them out quite quickly of going, oh yeah, that's above the line, that's below the line. So let's just make sure we all accept absolutely what this means. Above the line promotion is through independent media. Advertising, it allows businesses to reach a wide audience, more suitable for mass marketing, like we said, all these different versions of it. And then let's have a look at each one. Okay, so television advertising. Well, we can do a couple of different ones. We can do regional, sort of like the northwest, northeast, Scotland. Like sort of North Scotland, East Scotland. Whatever it is that they choose to do. National, so completely all over the country, or we can do satellite, which can be global. Okay, now it depends on what you want to do. Obviously, the bigger you go, the more mass market the product has to be, and the more difficult it is to really convert watchers to sales. Whereas if you can go somewhere really niche, if you can go to Northwest England, I'm going to sell to them, then it makes it a lot more easy for you, doesn't it, to sort of be really specific to your audience and hopefully convert them through to sales, which is ultimately what we're trying to do. Advantages wide audience can take you can time it for appropriate audiences, can't you? We know who's going to be watching TV at certain times. It's harder now because of Netflix and things like that, but we can still do it. If the average consumer is the demographic that you're trying to hit tends to watch soap operas, then go around the soap opera time. If you're trying to get your, the family viewing, then probably the Saturday night, sort of Saturday night takeaway time. I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. Anything with Ant and Dec on, basically, is a good place to start. Disadvantages, though, very, very expensive. It's extremely expensive because it's so sought after and it accesses so many people. Can you imagine how much it must cost to advertise on ITV, on in between the thing, especially when they do that win the ads thing on what's it called? Saturday Night Takeaway. That must be crazy expensive, especially when they're actually implementing it in the program itself. Can be lost in the midst of others. It's difficult to really think. Are you really listening to adverts? It annoys me. I want to turn them off when they come on. New TV functions can enable fast forwarding as well and stuff like that. Just pause it. Don't watch them. So is it actually a good investment at all? It's a decision that you'd have to make at the time, wouldn't it? Newspapers, we've got the same, all these different ones except specialised magazines, and we've got specialised TV channels as well, haven't we? Can use specialised mags or inserts. Really better for market segmentation, so segmenting your market to your different demographics. Who are you trying to advertise to? If it's children, would the Lego, say you're trying to sell Lego, what would be good? Well, the Lego magazine would be ideal to do the Lego to announce a new Lego product, wouldn't it? Because you've got a captive audience who really love Lego. So do it in the Lego magazine or on the Lego channel if they had one or something like that. Smaller firms can use magazine. I always get loads of bumps put through my door and stuff like this. I wouldn't say this is effective, really. I haven't really bought anything that I've ever seen in a magazine or a newspaper, but it must be effective to an extent because people do use it. Can be very costly even for local papers. Difficult to stand out from others, and it's often ignored. I'm hold my hand up and say that I definitely ignore them. So I'm a loss leader for these companies. I'm that I'm just one of the ones you've got to pick up on your way because I'm not gonna be converted. So, little opportunity for you to go sort of above the line promotion, sort of have a look at the advantages and disadvantages. Let's have a little look at these. So, feel free, stop the stream now, have a little look, have a think about what you think the advantages and disadvantages are from what we've said so far, and let's have a look at what they are. Okay, here we go. So, before we get on, let's just quickly run through these. Advantages of above the line is mainly the amount of people that you can get to. It's something that is people know it's an advertisement, so people, there's the negatives of people maybe switching off or anything like that, but there is also the positives of a lot of people might watch. Are you really going to switch off? Are you really going to turn over? Are you really going to not look at an advert? It's an easy way to get mass market products out there. To go, actually, I do need some of that. I do need some Warburton's bread. I do need some Heinz beans. I do need, look at that new MacBook or whatever it is that you're talking about. Mass market products they're trying to sell to a large amount of people. Main disadvantage is cost, as I said, and really, are people actually going to going to go actually purchase these products, or are they just simply sort of watching as you do the promotion, and then it's not going to convert to a sale? We don't know, but it's I'd say that's the main issue with above the line promotion at this moment in time, is that we're finding ways to get around it. We've got ad blockers on YouTube, we've got stuff like that. And I'm naffed off with YouTube. Like I do it on this channel. I've just turned the monetization off. It wouldn't matter anyway. It's like pence. It's literally like fractions of a penny actually. But I can't stand that. 2 adverts before you watch a YouTube video, that's above the line promotion, and it's annoying. So one of the big disadvantages is you can really naff off people who are trying to, buy your products, because automatically, I've never bought anything I've seen on an advert for YouTube. I can confidently say that. I don't know how it figures out who it should be targeting, because it is crazy. It's up the wall. It doesn't really work that I can see. But then I probably have bought things that I've seen on TV and in newspapers and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't really read newspapers, so it doesn't really apply. Advertising medium will depend on a variety of things. So these are the things that we need to think about: cost, media reach, how far is it actually going to reach around the country, delivery of the chosen message. How do you want this message to actually be received? Do you want it to be really in your face? Do you want it to be quite subtle? Do you want it to sort of ooze luxury? Do you want it to make the sort of potential customer feel a certain way when they do it? The marketing mix itself, product, place, price, promotion. Remember, think about the other things. Remember, you can't have 1P without the others. It has to be consistent with other things. And the law as well. Now, in terms of the law, is there anything that stops you doing this? And yes, there is. They're called the Advertising Standards Agency, and they are a government organisation, or rather, they're a separate organisation from the government, but they're there to make sure that people and sort of companies abide by the legislation which is there to protect consumers. In the UK, we're very, very privileged to have such extreme legislation that we do. But if you have any issues with it, a brilliant thing that you can do, again, I'll stick it in the comments, is go on YouTube and have a look at the most banned adverts. And I'm not talking about these ones that are like hypersexualized or anything like that are just ridiculous. Oh, have you seen the Skittles one, or blah blah blah? Because I don't even believe some of those are real. That's the difficulty with YouTube, isn't it? But there are some of them. There is one of them that I will link that goes through like the top 10 most complained about adverts from like 2016 or something like that. They should do that. They should shout about it, shouldn't they? But yeah, people can complain, and if the ASA deem it necessary, then they will take the company down. They will make sure that they can't do that advert anymore. I can't remember who it was recently, but there was a company that got taken off air by the ASA because they were seen to be being derogatory for some reason or something like that. But one thing that has been just been announced by the ASA as well, one thing of new change in legislation is apparently, and I need this confirming, so if you could find this out for me and tell me, that'd be brilliant. But apparently the newest thing that the ASA are actually enforcing now, the newest piece of advertising stuff, the legislation, is that you're not allowed gender-biased products. So you can't specifically use gender stereotypes to advertise products anymore. That's what I heard. I don't know whether it's true, but when I looked at it, it seemed like it was true. If that's the case, that's massive. Because we talked about Coca-Cola, Diet Coke obviously aimed at women, and, guys taking the tops off and all these women going, that's nice. Or if you were to, aim something at a man, you've got the half-naked women and stuff like that. They use sex to sell a lot of things, don't they? But essentially, you won't be able to do that because that's a gender stereotype. So it's going to make people, if that's true, it's going to make people think a lot more about being creative in their advertisement and things like that. And should they be doing that? I don't know. That's up to you guys, isn't it? That's up to what people think. Have you been offended by any advertisement or stuff like that? But yeah, I know it's. I think men get a bad rep with this kind of stuff. We get tied with the sexual harassment stuff, but we never get the if someone wants to be sexist towards men. Then it's always seen as a bit of fun, ha ha ha, it's a bit of a joke. But if anybody says something to a woman, it's really, really extreme. If anyone says the same thing to a man, it's like, oh, you're overweight or whatever it is, then it's okay. Which isn't all right, is it? So maybe it is good that they're doing it. I don't know. We'll have to see, won't we? But if you can find out, if someone wants to email me or comment or whatever, find out now. In fact, do that. Someone do that now. Someone go on. Can you just have a quick look? Have a look at if there's any new legislation in the UK that stops gender stereotyping in advertising. The awkward thing will be if it's not a new law and they say, oh no, that's not the case. But yeah, someone find out for me. Go on now and have a look for me, please, and comment. I'll carry on while you do it. So, below the line promotion takes place via methods other than media, over which firms have some degree of control and allows businesses to aim their products and customers they know they're interested in their products. So it's a lot more specific. Anything that isn't advertising, anything that isn't really obvious advertising, okay? And when I say really obvious advertising, because you could say branding, you could say design, you could say all these different forms of promotion are forms of advertising, and they are to an extent, but what we mean by advertising is the really obvious adverts that are on TV. That are on the radio, that they're on, in news and things like that. Let's have a look at some examples of this. So PR. Now, I mentioned PR. PR is one that you may have heard of, but an attempt by a business to communicate with the public aims to increase sales by improving the image of the business and its products. A PR company can be used or not, depends on if you need their expertise. Media may be used to publicise the PR activity. However, it will not be paid for, so he's not advertising. Okay? Now, they'll use a variety of methods to attract publicity: press conferences, press releases, donations, sponsorships, company visits. Okay, it's to come in, I think, yeah. So it looks like the gender stereotype thing is true. I thought it was. As I said, it didn't sound like it was like from some dodgy things. Harmful gender stereotypes to be banned on the ASA website. There you go. So it is coming in. And this will make people have to significantly change the way they advertise and be a bit more creative and things like that. Be interesting to see what they do with Diet Coke now, won't it? Now, I suppose it would be a case of harmful gender stereotypes, or if it's all gender stereotypes. But anyway, I suppose you could say anyway. Yeah. So think about these things. How often do you see press conferences for things? Films do it all the time where they do these. They do interviews. You see Robert Downey Jr. doing an interview. That interview is PR. It's free advertising because they're not paying for advertising. They go on Good Morning Britain. They go on the One Show. They go on whatever it is, and then we watch the One Show, or we watch Good Morning Britain, or we watch some advertising. Some program with interviews on, or YouTube with interviews on, or whatever it is like that. That is advertising for Robert Downey Jr. and it is also advertising for Marvel and Disney and all those different things. But we're not going, oh, this is an advert for Marvel, when it obviously is, because they're talking about the movie, aren't they? So it is an advert, but it's not. It's PR. It's free advertising. Another way you can remember this one is things like like that drive-ins, dives, and whatever it is on Dave or Quest or whatever it's on, or what was the other one? Man versus Food. Those food challenges and things like that, that's PR. So you can the fact that they've got a Man versus Food challenge, the fact that you may have been on Man versus Food, that you don't pay to go on Man versus Food, but you have something that would be exciting that they can come and do. Another one I saw as well was when people let other people, like companies let people try and do Guinness World Record attempts and things like that. That's good PR. I know there was one at the Big Dipper in Blackpool Pleasure Beach. They were letting him ride it for like months at a time or something like that. And that went worldwide. That was people from all over the place. There was people from Australia. Australian news companies who were picking that up. You wouldn't be able to buy that kind of media. You couldn't buy that kind of advertising if you wanted to. But one of the it's important to remember that how good PR can be. This is PR, isn't it? For me, I suppose. It's not advertising, but if I wanted to go for a future job or something, then this is definitely good PR for me, because I can go, well, even on days when he's been in PT and he feels like he's been, beaten up, he still does streaming. Or in an emergency situation. Yeah, make me principal now. It's the only sensible option, isn't it? Give me all the money. All of it. Quick. Let's carry on before I lose it. So, these are all good examples of PR. This is a crazy one, isn't it? Look at this one. These are masks, by the way, really hyper-realistic masks that they did, and they went and sat on a tube train as a kind of demonstration for something, or to advertise something and things like this. We've got advertisements, Paddy Power underwear. We've got Intel doing something with Stephen Hawkins at the time, things like this. It wasn't a thingy. England's World Cup success formula. So it was Paddy Power doing something with them. So, and Intel, there you are. I think Intel were the people who do his little machine. So it says here, You Big Babies, Paddy Power's disturbing publicity stunt as betting on Kate and William's royal baby soars. So that's what that was all about. Look at the amount of press they got though. The Metro, the Evening Standard, BuzzFeed, The Sun, Marketing Week, all these different things all about that. Now, could you have paid for all that? Yeah, probably, but not to get in the places like this. They wouldn't have seen it as, if you do something really extreme, you can get news companies to cover you for free, which is really good, isn't it? It's kind of like the Richard Branson school of marketing, really, because he used to do really extreme stuff and then let the mass media advertise you stuff for free. Same for this one. We've got things about Paddy Power with Stephen Hawkins here. A brief history of Team Hawkins World Cup formula. Hawkins tackles the greatest mystery of all. How can England win the World Cup? And you've got all these different things. Wear red and bring on... bring on the wigs? I can't see it from here. But anyway, yeah, you've got all these different things. So that's PR really. So you do something extreme, or you do something that's a bit, in your face, and then you let the mass media, get hold of it. Or you can do sort of like, interviews, or you could do all these different things. It's just good PR. It's good advertisement for the brand without having to actually do an advertisement. So a couple of advantages, disadvantages. Advantages can improve the brand image, can be used for a product range. Consumers are becoming more concerned with firms accepting some social responsibility, so being seen to be doing something nice, providing. I think if I heard right the other day, who was it? There was a. Who was it? Oh, that's going to really annoy me. There is an actor who was it? There's an actor that is doing well at the minute, and he just gave £250,000 to the NHS because he said, well, I'm doing all right, and it's just sat in the bank, so at least it goes to a worthy cause, and just gave that money to them. Now that's brilliant PR, isn't it? I can't remember his name, so it's not that good PR because he but I'm sure if you look into it, another one. Someone go and have a look quickly for me. Go and have a look on that for me. There was an actor who over the last couple of days gave like £250,000 to the NHS. Yes, you could see it as just a really nice gesture, and of course it's a really nice gesture, and that's not to take away anything, but charity donations and stuff like that is fantastic PR, isn't it? It's a brilliant opportunity to be seen and to be doing something nice. Disadvantages: a business can also receive bad publicity. That's a bad one. I mean, for businesses when they or individuals, when you give charitable donations, people jump on you. Oh yeah, he's only doing it to get the press. Well, okay, well, I won't give loads of money to charity then. Are you happy now? What do you want me to do? We'll do it without mentioning it to anyone. Well, it might be a good way of raising the cause. It's just people are funny about stuff like that, aren't they? No guarantee publicity will be raised. There's so much out there, so much stuff going on, so many companies, PR companies that are specifically there to try and get your name out there now. You're competing with lots of other people. High-profile sponsorships can be very expensive. Think about how much it must cost stuff like McDonald's to sponsor the Olympics. And why do they bother? Why would McDonald's bother to do that? James McAvoy. It is James McAvoy. You might have seen him in Split. You might have seen him in X-Men. James McAvoy. It seems like a really nice guy to do that, doesn't he? You are on the ball. Congratulations, well done. I knew it was just went out of my head, but yeah. So you heard it here first. Well, no, you didn't. Second, James McAvoy, modern day saint. Merchandising. So an attempt to influence consumers at the point of sale, where customer buys the product, consumers buy based on what they see rather than from a sales assistant. So, Nike and that would be a really good example of these. Aims to increase the sales and therefore speed of which the stock's turned over. So display material to get it out there to make it impressive when you do it. Layout of products at the point of sale. Stocks, appropriate lighting and desirable smells. You don't think about this, but it's a big one. How is the person experiencing your product in the place in which they come across it? So if you go into a shop and it stinks, then you're not going to be very happy about spending any time there, are you? Whereas you're probably thinking the absolute opposite. You're probably thinking, right, I'm out of here because this absolutely reeks, this shop. But if it smells nice, if you're thinking, oh, this is a bakery, because I know that they were saying, wasn't there, in the M&M world, I don't know if you've ever been there in London, but they sell lots of different merchandise of M&Ms. But one of the big things they do in M&M world is they have lots of things on the walls. They have it really, really colourful. They have all these different things, and it's expensive. M&M branded stuff is really expensive, but it's an experience going in the shop, and they actually push the smell. It's a synthesized smell of like a chocolatey smell. They sort of push it into the store, so when you go in, it smells quite sort of sickly sweet. But lots of people like it, and kids think it's great. It's like going into Willy Wonka's. You're thinking, wow, this is exciting. Look at all these different colours, lights, sounds, tastes, all these different things. And Hotel Chocolat is a good example of another brand that do it as well, isn't it? You go into the store and they give you free stuff. I love getting free stuff. So, I always go into Hotel Chocolat and have some kind of free, very expensive chocolate. This would be a good example of the two of them. It's annoying, isn't it, when I have these things? As I said, I explained why this happens. It's because I don't. I literally have the PowerPoint at the side. I don't put it onto full screen mode or anything like that, so you see all that. But yeah, look at this one. So we've got you can see the difference between the two. Colgate, very very sort of colourful. Maybe because they're trying to get some of them for kids and things like that. But a range of different products. This one at the top, we've got J Crew, seen as much more high class. You can see automatically, can't you, about the kind of consumer that we're going for and things like that. A couple of advantages and disadvantages. Useful for selling end of line, nearing sell by date, etc. Get that word out there. Just do a special offer. Do some merchandising, make it look nice in the shop. Useful to tempt purchase of a new product, even if you didn't think, oh, that sounds good, if they've got there's a special offer, but also look at how nice it looks. What's that over there? Oh, new thing. Useful to the additional sales per customer as well. So, merchandising is a big one that they use at checkouts. They call it pester power, getting your kids to do the advertising for you. And I don't mean your kids, but someone's kids. So why do they put chocolate bars next to the checkout? Because then you go, oh, I'll just have one of them as well. Oh, I'll just have one of them. They're not going to put toilet rolls near it. You're not going to go, oh, I'll just have another toilet roll, are you? I mean, at the minute you might do, actually. But it's little things that you think, oh, a bottle of water. Yeah, I'll have a bottle of water, or I'll have some mints, or whatever it is that they've decided to put. Small things which you can add on to your thing. And putting them right next to your the place where you're actually paying for things means that you might make those last-minute purchases as well. Disadvantages, though, can only be used in retail outlets. It's not possible for all products. You can't do it on it's difficult to do it on clothes, to be honest. You can do it in terms of, you can put some mannequins out with the clothes on it, but you can't do it for everything, or the whole shop would be full of mannequins. Many products will be utilising this method. How do you stand out? If everyone's using merchandising, why bother? Because you won't get seen anywhere. Some products can naturally look appealing whilst others cannot. Some of the design of the product, if it's fruit or veg, fruit and veg do look naturally appetizing, don't they? They go, oh, that's nice. But I think even though if you like meat, if you're a meat eater, a big chunk of steak doesn't look nice to me. I'm not really a fan of steak anyway, to be honest, but let's say it's ham in a packet. I don't like it. I like ham. I'll have ham sandwich or something like that, but a big piece of ham, like a big piece of meat, it just doesn't, it doesn't buzz me. Whereas fruit and veg, even though I don't eat half as much as I should have of those things, I'm more attracted to them because they're naturally good looking, aren't they? Oh, look at all the colours and look at the textures and stuff like that. We're nearly done. Stay with me, we're nearly done. Packaging. A product's packaging is an important part of the overall marketing and promotion. Customers often link the quality to the product itself. I can definitely say this. I've definitely put products back because of the crap quality of the actual packaging. And if you think about bigger products now, like your MacBooks, like your iPads, like your iPhones. Look at the amount of time they spent on the packaging. It's a bit of an experience actually opening the packaging, isn't it? I had one recently. I don't know if I've still got it. No, I don't think I've got it to hand. Oh no, I have. Just one second. Oh. This OnePlus 7. This is the newest phone I've got, but this is the box. It's very sort of Apple-esque, isn't it? I'll just put me back on a second so you can see it. But look, it's an experience. So it comes like this. And it's all nice and red, and you've got all these different things, and and then you go inside, and it's got a little I'll do it like that. You've got a little tab, and it's got, obviously I've taken everything out now, but it adds the charger in, all these different things. You've got this little booklet with lots of information in, and they've even sent me a little thing which is nice in here, little welcome thing, and it has let me be the first to welcome you to the OnePlus community. And it has this little information on it. It's nice, it's not a big thing, but, packaging makes a difference. So I've got that. And then, if you were to look at the same one, just, because I love my technology, the buds, the Galaxy buds, these are my wife's buds, actually, because I got them recently. These are the sort of the... Not the newest ones because they've got Buds Plus now, but yeah, look at this as well. Look at how nice that is. See that somewhere? It's all sparkly. It's got nice, you got the thing. It's got nice embossed lettering on. You take the thing off, and then you've got this nice, really simple design. It's definitely from the book of Apple, this, isn't it? In terms of on the back, you've got the little Samsung thing where you've got the booklet in it and things like that. So, these are just two examples of them, but look how nice they are. It makes you feel like you're getting something special, and if you're going to buy something second hand, you think, oh, have they got the box for it? I have got, I think I've got, yeah, just 1 second. The box for my MacBook. Look how nice it is. It is nice. It's a nice bit of kit. In terms of this, and it slides out. Let me. And inside you'd have the Mac, and it's got this nice bit of thing on it, which has some information on it. All about Apple and things like that. You've got this little thing that does it. It's just all clean and nice and exciting. And as I said, it's an experience. It makes you feel special because you've got this thing. So if you think about these various bits of packaging, and all right, they're quite a small, niche demographic in terms of the actual products, because the ones I'm talking about are all technology products, aren't they? So of course they're going to go that kind of stuff. But you see my point. It's that kind of stuff. Everything all the way over to, a bag of something, like the bags that they give at the Disney shop and things like that. It makes you feel special. It makes you feel something a bit better. So, yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at the next one. Okay. So, again, just to draw you back to one of the earlier ones as well, I've said here, refer to the product and packaging pack for factors to consider. Okay. So, where are we? Here we are. So, sales promotions, one that we don't really think about a lot, but we all are involved in quite heavily. Incentives offered to consumers to encourage them to buy things. So, do you get something free? These were actually used as an incentive, weren't they? So you buy a new, Samsung S20 or whatever it is, and you get some free buds. You buy, I don't know if they did them with iPhone, did they? I'd be surprised if they did, because they don't tend to do that. They don't tend to try and give you anything free. I think the only time I've seen Apple do anything free is when they do the back to school stuff. So if you go back to university, they do the... you get some free Beats headphones or something like that. Provide short-term boost to sales for the product, maybe used to encourage customers to try the product. We've got coupons and loyalty cards, sales, price cuts, bog off, buy one, get one free. Competitions, product endorsements, product placing. When we say product placement, we say on TV and things like that. I always think it's funny now, since I got one of the newer Macs, how many people using old Macs on TV. And it shows how, the new Mac design's been in since about 2016, so that's 4 years, isn't it? Or approaching 4 years, and we've still not gone over to the new Macs because I just don't think they look as good on screen either, because they haven't got that glowing logo, which was really good. They should put that in. Apple, if you're listening, which I know you are, put the glowing logo back in. It's important. Okay, so a couple of advantages and disadvantages with this. May tempt customers to repeat purchase once tried. It appeals to more price conscientious and rewards. I've definitely bought things because, you get something free with it, so that's a better, product offering and things like that. Increase sales volumes and maybe your overall revenue. Can only be used for short-term things, though. You can't just keep doing it, or it's really obvious. As I said, like the DFS sale, if you keep saying about it, it becomes a joke. It's never-ending sale. Well, is it? Why don't you just just put your prices down completely? I think they did as well. Didn't DFS say they weren't doing a sale anymore? They just said that they were going to reduce the prices. yeah, it could cost you a lot of different things. Now, just a couple more before we finish about different ones. I'm not going to go into loads of detail about these because, you know, it's pretty obvious. But one of the ones I wanted to talk about was direct selling, because you might not have heard of it. So a company's sales team promotes the product through a personal contact. So telephones, meetings, retail outlets. This is when someone comes up to you and tries to sell you something, or rings you. Hi, I'm calling from such and such thing. That's personal selling. You go into an estate agent and they come over and try and sell you something, or try and look at houses that you might want to buy. You go to a car showroom and they come and try and sell you a car. They don't do it for everything. But it is something which they do for, you know, high purchase products usually. Okay. I know that we're going over for time now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you these here, and then we'll, you know, you can sort of pause it and we can carry on. Okay, so feel free to go back to these, but. Exhibitions and trade fairs, another one that you might not have done much with, but I've definitely been to trade fairs. I went to one called Toy Fair, which is a big one in London, where all the latest children's toys get together, and we were selling our products to them. One thing I have said, if you ever want to interest someone in selling something, if you say to them, if you're trying to give some free stuff away, say, have you been given anything free? And they always go, no, and you go, oh, well, here you go then, and give them something. So that's my little technique. It worked brilliantly. Have you been given anything free? No, because everyone loves free stuff. Oh, I'll have one of these then. There you go. There's your leaflet. There's your free product taster kit and things like that, and it really worked. Both industrial and ordinary consumers attend exhibitions. Big one for these. You know, I'm the gamer inside me. E3, big one. In Los Angeles every year. It hasn't been on this year because of the corona, but it'll probably be on back again next year. But we have Gamescom and things like that. So big ones for the gaming industry, where everyone gets together, looks at, you know, companies come together and advertise what they're going to be doing next, announce new games, announce new things. But you've also got lots of other ones, so exhibitions that happen in, you know, a range of different places. Like they had the Doctor Who exhibition that was on, you know, like a staple place in Wales for about 5 years or something. It's gone now. I really liked it though. It was really cool. Yeah, you can have exhibitions which come and go, which a lot of them do, but you can have ones that are quite, you know, stationary ones as well. I think in Blackpool they have a stationary one for Star Trek now. I don't know why it's always the geeky stuff, but yeah. Motor show, boat show, clothes show, ideal home show, that kind of stuff. Again, I'm not going to go through the advantages and disadvantages here, but if you can get them down, have a look at them. Pretty obvious ones. All right. So feel free to pause it and get them on. Another one, direct mailing, spreading information about a product through the post. Can usually be the product by placing an order through the post or telephone. Has now been extending to direct emailing. Yeah, I still get loads of stuff like this, but again, it doesn't work. But it must work to an extent, because they wouldn't keep doing it if people weren't gullible enough to actually respond to these things. I've never bought anything that's come through my door. My another Mr. Businessman top tip: do not ever buy anything from a doorstop salesman. Doesn't matter if it's the best deal you've ever heard of. Doesn't matter if it's something that you really, really want. Do not buy off anyone who comes to your door, because it's not a good rule of thumb. Why the hell are they coming to you? If you need something, go to them. If they're coming to my door, I don't know who these people are. I don't know. I've no seal of quality. I've not got the Sales of Good Act protecting me. You know, just be sensible about it. Just rule of thumb: do not buy off them. And also, don't give your credit card details or your bank details to anyone either, ever. Unless you can avoid it, you know, over the phone, you've got to be absolutely certain who you're giving that information to, because you'd be surprised how much the bank won't help you out with this kind of stuff if you end up getting conned. Again, a couple of advantages and disadvantages on there for you. Okay, so we're nearly there, and the last thing I wanted to talk to you about, just really, really quickly, last slide, is businesses usually use a range of different ones, so you've got to come up with your promotional mix, we call it. So the promotional mix is all those different things that we talked about. It's PR, it's direct selling, it's merchandising, all those different things. Just like the marketing mix, you've got to come up with your own promotional mix. How are you going to sell this product? And we are going to go into more detail about this in the second year. But for now, I want you to have a think about it as just the same as product, place, price, promotion. If you've got in the promotion side of things, how are we going to do it? Are we going to do it all paid? Are we going to do it as special offers? Are we going to do it all as PR? Are we going to do it all as, try and do bog offs? Are we going to do, what are we physically going to do? What's our plan? And most of it will come down to these influences. So product differentiation, can you have a look at what the alternatives are doing? Your marketing budget, we've already talked about budget and budget analysis and variances and things like that. Remember, go back if you can't remember those things. Cultural sensitivity, one that people don't really think about, but you need to. Is it going to go down well in foreign countries? Are they going to be more offended by things, or is it going to translate well? There's been a range of different products, hasn't there, that in different languages the brand names actually mean the opposite. So there was I can't remember which one it was, but I'm not on it today. As I said, I feel like I've been beaten up, but there was another product. There was a car that meant doesn't go. I can't remember which one it was, but it was like a Fiat something or other or whatever. And the little brand name for it meant doesn't go. So you're not going to sell very many of those in foreign countries if it means, it's just a funny word in England, but in a foreign country it means the Fiat doesn't move. That's not going to go down well as a car, is it? And also, it could be a lot more, offensive. Why do McDonald's are a brilliant one of this globalization? They also use a thing called localization. So they do global localization in the terms of look at what the current cultural expectations are in that country and try and abide by those, try and exploit those as much as you can. McDonald's are fantastic at doing this because they say stuff like, okay, well, we won't sell pork in a Muslim country because they don't eat it. Why would you do that? It would make no sense to do that. So instead we'll do more chicken or halal or stuff like that. It'd be a good example. So you need to be aware of what the country wants and what the country's expectations are. We've also got the product life cycle in your target market, competitor actions as well. If you're going to be going into an American market, you're going to be going up with bigger companies like Walmart and stuff in the supermarket chains, aren't we? If you come into the British market, then yes, you will be going up to people like Morrison's and Tesco's and stuff like that, but it's nowhere near the kind of people like Target and Walmart are in America. Obviously, I'm not American, so I haven't experienced what the rest of them are, but in terms of that, I wouldn't want to go up against them. Okay, so there is a one thing I want you to do, just for the last thing I want you to do to have a little look at today is, and you don't have to do it in pairs, this is if we were in class, but select and justify an appropriate method or mix of promotions for the following. All I want you to do is just have a think about those three, okay? Sorry, not those three, those two. We've got Staples. Staples aren't even around anymore, are they? But I want you to see if you could have saved them. All right. So I think they're called Home Depot or something now. But Staples, remember, they're a stationery shop. What do you think that you could do with that? So would you use above the line? Would you use below the line? Would you use a different one? So just literally for Cadbury and for Staples, decide. And one of your own. Let's say one of your own as well. It's totally fine. Just pick one. Just have a bit of a practice with it. Have a look, do a bit of research into them, decide, whether you think they're successful or not. Most businesses that we will be looking at are successful. But you'll know. Have a look at different companies and different... promotional mixes. Some of them do practically no above the line stuff. Others do practically all above the line stuff. It just depends on the circumstances, doesn't it? Okay, ladies and gents, we come to the end of the stream. We're going to have a little look at the BBC as we do every day, just to see where we're up to. I saw before, because literally just before I came on stream, I just clocked something on here. It says... this would be an interesting one. Let's have a look at this. It says, are loss of smell and taste key symptoms? My brother-in-law hasn't been able to smell or taste for a week or two, so maybe that's quite frightening. A team at King's College London looked at responses from more than 400,000 people reporting suspected COVID-19 symptoms to an app, but the loss of smell and taste are signs of other respiratory infections such as the common cold. And experts say that fever and cough remain the most important symptoms of the virus and to look out and act upon. If you or someone you know, all right, well, that's no good, is it? So it said 53% said they had fatigue or tiredness, 29% persistent cough, 28% shortness of breath, 18% loss of sense or taste, 10.5% suffered from fever. That's interesting. So fever isn't a big one. Interesting one. I don't want to cover loads of corona stuff anywhere though, but this is an interesting one I saw. This was it. So it says a fifth of smaller UK firms will run out of cash. I feel like we're talking about cash flow all the time, and go back and have a look at the cash flow things, because cash flow stream if you didn't catch it, because it's very, very applicable right now. So nearly a fifth of all small and medium-sized businesses in the UK are unlikely to get the cash they need to survive the next 4 weeks in spite of unprecedented government support. That's according to research from a network of accountants which suggests that between 800,000 and 1 million firms nationwide may soon have to close. Interesting one. Yeah, they said that they were going to be able to give loans and stuff, but this is the problem with cash flow, isn't it? We know that even if there is money available in the long term, in the short term, if you fail, then it doesn't matter how much money would have been available, because you can't make it pay, unfortunately, and you can't pay your suppliers and you can't pay your your various stakeholders at the time. So yeah, it says here Steve Lord runs Belgrave and Powell, a Nottingham-based engineering group employing 120 people and supplying services to customers such as BAE Samlesbury site, where F-35s and Typhoon fighter jets are made. Sim Salisbury halted production. His business, like millions of others, is facing the prospect of cash drying up, threatening his ability to pay wages and stay afloat. I was heartened and astonished to see the unprecedented help that was announced by the government 2 weeks ago, but we put one of our most senior people on it, and as each day passed, it was a disappointment after disappointment. He said that some of the approved lenders were demanding interest rates of 30%, which Mr. Lord believes is taking advantage of the situation. Meanwhile, he said high street banks were charging around 7%. However, he was told that it could be as long as a month before his firm got the money. That's no good. No good. Because you'll fail before you do that. You're not just going to be saying, oh yeah, you can just have access to cash, or no, you can't. I don't really want to talk about the depressing stuff. Oh, okay, this is an interesting one. Zoom under increased scrutiny as popularity soars. I don't know if anybody have used this, but I've used it over the last couple of days, never used it before. Video conferencing app Zoom has come under her fresh high-level scrutiny as its popularity soars during the coronavirus pandemic. New York's Attorney General has written to the firm raising concerns over its ability to cope with the rise in users. Zoom is now being used by millions of people for work and leisure as lockdowns are imposed in many countries, but its data security and privacy measures have been questioned. It says Zoom takes its users' privacy, security, and trust extremely seriously. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we were working towards around the clock to ensure that hospitals, universities, schools, and other businesses across the world can stay connected. So, essentially, users have flocked to Zoom as governments around the world ordered large parts of the population to stay at home. But we've got this issue here. It said this. Oh, right, there you go. Boris Johnson using it. So, do you think he's doing that on purpose? Do you think he's like that? We must do all. When was this? We must do all our bit to stop the thing. But yeah, I mean, that's brilliant advertising, isn't it? PR. What a good PR thing this is. Even Boris Johnson uses it. So the most senior person in the country uses Zoom. I don't know if you'd want to be associated with the chat myself, but finally, ooh, wow. Let's have a little look at this one. Sainsbury's uses loophole to keep Argos open. Sainsbury's has been accused of exploiting a loophole to keep Argos outlaw open. I didn't know Argos was open. I might buy something. Under government restrictions, all non-essential shops have been closed for the past week. All supermarkets are an exception. Argos concessions within Sainsbury's shop remain open, but workers fear health risks and consumers said they should be shut. Sainsbury's have said they can only buy items in store outlets if they have already paid for them online, like many other online retailers. That's brilliant. I didn't know that. Well, they're open now. I might buy something then. I've been wanting some Lego. You know what? As an unusual one, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to take you with me. I'm going to take you with me. We're going to have a look on the Argos website. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Because you might want to go on yourself. I'll take you with me. Look at all these. What a treat. A little bit of an advertisement for Lego. I'm not sponsored by anyone. Not sponsored by anyone at Argos. If you want to pay me back. I hope it's been useful for you guys. I will see you again 10 o'clock tomorrow. Probably feeling worse than I am now in terms of the acid on my muscles will really have started kicking in then. But remember, I'm here if you need me. Give me a shout. Pop me an email. I'm going to put those videos in the comments section for you. So feel free to have a little look. And I will see you all tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Bye-bye.